know it was the first time, trying to just make sure you figure out the work that has to be done so you can finish it, and the mentors can be able to read it and give you the proper feedback as you discuss during today's program. So I just want to just run through quickly how the program will run today, and generally every time we do it. And one of the successes, as we said, was that we found in other places really running on time and everyone being here. See, everyone made it, which is great. So, in a moment, I'll give a brief introduction. We'll hear from our first guest speaker. Today, the pillar is character. And our guest speaker, Mrs. Gniwisch, will talk for about 25 minutes. And then there'll be a chance for everyone to ask questions. And we encourage asking questions. That's why we bring people here. You have your mentors you're working closely with, but others who can come in who have a lot to share. They can ask questions as they tell you their story and their different experiences. After about 20-25 minutes of that, we'll take a quick break. You take some more food or something and find your tables. We'll tell where everyone is. And then we'll begin the last part, the last hour is with your mentor. And you will have a chance to discuss what you wrote, each one of you wrote, your 3 to a mentor. And we tried to follow mostly what your requests were, and a number of other things that went into account, but every one of our mentors is someone I would be happy to spend all the time that we have for the next, throughout the whole Solomon program. So all of you are very lucky, and it's going to be definitely a great experience. At the end, the last 10 minutes, we will ask some of you, at your will. This is a leadership program, so we hope some of you may be shy, but we'll ask some of you, or as many of you, to come up and just give a quick minute, what you sort of took away from today, a comment of what you took away from today. This is part of developing leadership, is feel comfortable to speak to a group. Many of you know each other already. You're going to get to know each other, but we're forming as an individual group. So, just a quick introduction. Mrs. Julie Gniwisch actually is my mother-in-law, Dina's mother, but that's not why she's here. I'm very proud that she's my mother-in-law. She's here because she is a very accomplished woman, both in her personal life, having brought up a great family and enjoys, thank God, many children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, having started her own business and become a very household name in Montreal and many other places around the world, where besides many family members working together, employs many other people here and in the United States and in Asia, and as well within the community, being a leader at different points in her life in different ways, being a leader in the Jewish community, president of the Beth Rivka schools, and many other positions, official or unofficial. So we're very honored, and I'm happy to have a woman as our first guest speaker, because leadership is within all of us, whether you're a man or a woman. We are all set up to be leaders, and hopefully this is what we're going to experience as we go through this whole project and program, is to bring out the leadership within every one of you, and we look forward to great futures for all of you. So I'd like to invite Mrs. Julie Gniwisch.
Thank you, Maishi. Excuse me for 1 second. It's not minimum pages, don't be scared. Just wrote a few notes down. I actually just found out yesterday that tonight I'm speaking. So, good evening, and thank you for having me here tonight. I don't know why my son-in-law asked me. He told me the subject today is character. Everybody thinks I am a character. But character is something that you have to work very hard on. And from when I was young, that was one of the most important things that I did and learned. And all my life, I felt that I had something in me that I should give. And sometimes we become a little bit humble, and we think that we're not good enough and we're not smart enough. But I think all of us, Hashem gave us, all of us, a soul. And the minute we are born, the reason we are born is because what we have to do, no one else can do for us, only us. We are unique, and every one of us is here to do something great. So, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a Holocaust survivor. I was born in Europe during the war. I came to Canada with my parents. I was 8 years old. I knew no English. Actually, I knew French because we lived in Paris for a few years. Growing up, there was no Jewish schools here. We came from an Orthodox family. My parents were Shomer Shabbat. They kept the Shabbat. And so most of our kids today are lucky. They have schools to go to, yeshivas to go to, but I didn't have that luck. My parents sent me to public school. And in my class, there were, in high school for sure, 33 kids in my class. 30 of them were Jewish, and two were Chinese and one was Protestant. That's how our community was. It was all European people that came together. But I was the only one that was Orthodox. And so I was special. I felt myself special. People would look up to me. Even the teachers, they thought that it was wonderful that I had something that I could look up to, that I used. As a matter of fact, on the days when Fridays came out early, my teachers would ask me if you want to leave early because you have to light the candles and it gets dark early on Fridays. They would be more than happy to let me go. And Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur was never a problem. We were all Jewish. The school was closed, practically. And this, I'm talking about a Protestant school. So those were the days. Unfortunately, today, religion is no longer important. Everything is science. It was replaced by science. As I grew up, when I was a teenager, I had the opportunity to go to New York and meet with Rabbi Schneerson. We call him the Rebbe. Rabbi Schneerson was an luminary. He was a person that loved everybody and everything. And he gave us the opportunity to become people that we didn't think we could become. He built leaders, not followers. And what he did to the world, he recreated what the Nazis did with hate. The Rebbe built up with love, one person at a time. And when I was a teen, I decided that this is what I wanted my life to be like. And so I met my husband through Chabad, and together we built a beautiful family. I have 6 children. I have 45 grandchildren, and I had my 85th grandchild, great-grandchild yesterday. Thank you. When I was about 40, I decided that there was something I needed to do. My children had all grown up. Most of them were already out of the house. I had only Dina, and Dina was 5 years old, and my son Penny was 7 years old, and I wanted to do something for myself. I was not easy bringing up 6 children all within 10 years. I wanted to buy pearls and sell pearls because I love, love, love pearls. So I found a company in New York, a very big company, and they sell wholesale. I mean, that's their big deal. And I called up, made an appointment, and I asked my husband to come with me to New York so I could buy pearls. So it would be, I have already jewelry now, I have pearls, I'll have more things to sell. So we come to this place, and it's a very big company, and I had an appointment, and the secretary says, I'm sorry, he's very busy, you'll have to wait. I said, okay. So we sit down in the waiting room, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait. 2 hours later, he's still very busy. Finally, I come in to see him, and 40 years ago, I wasn't 80. I was 40. I looked a little different. And he looked at me and he said, you want to buy pearls for me? And I said, yeah. He says, I'm really, really sorry, but I have a big company to run. I don't have time for little things like this. I have someone in Montreal that I sell to. Why don't you buy from him? I said, okay, thank you. I walked out and I said to my husband, you know what? That was so rude. I think we should go to Japan. My husband looks at me and he says, what do you mean go to Japan? I said, look, I know pearls come from Japan. If this guy has the chutzpah to throw me out, I know he buys his pearls from Japan, so why can't I? It's the same dollar, right? He says, you want to go? We'll go. So we packed up, and we went, and we decided we were going to go. I found out that the place that has all the pearls is called Kobe. And the closest city to Kobe is Osaka. So we land in Osaka, and I said, we take a hotel room, and I said to the lady, I want to be able to go to Kobe to buy the pearls. So she says, Madame, you can't stay here and go to Kobe an hour and a half every day. You need to go to a hotel in Kobe. So that's how much I knew. So I said, okay. So we come to Kobe, and we come to this little hotel. I mean, it's like Motel 6 minus the 6. Everything in Japan is very miniature, very little. I asked the lady at the desk in broken English, I asked her where we can buy. I found out that in Japanese, pearls is called shinju. So I said to her, I want to buy shinju. So she gives me a booklet this thick, and there are 40,000 suppliers in this book. And she says, here. So I said, how are they rated? So she says, well, the top is the biggest, and as you go down, it's the smallest. Okay. So I said to my husband, let's make an appointment with the number 1 guy, and we'll work our way down. I made an appointment, and they all, of course, they all had someone that spoke English because they were doing a lot of business in the States. They were not doing business at all in Canada yet. Can you imagine? So I come there and I meet this guy, and in Japan, women are, at that time, maybe now it's different, I haven't been there back for about 15 years, but in that time, women were like third-class citizens. Even if you worked in the factory there, stringing and drilling pearls, first you had to cook lunch, you had to clean the toilets, you had to sweep, make, that was like the women's job, and then you could go work in the factory. And I remember it was like, I don't know if it was ashamed or sorry, but we walked in, and the women were like in 2 rows, and as the men walked in, they all bowed. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is not mine. This is not for me. But anyways, the guy explained to him that I wanted to buy pearls, and that one day I would become a very big importer, but he has to show me and teach me everything I need to know. And to him it was, I think he thought it was fun. He never had such a young woman buying pearls. Most of the people that used to come were the old Jewish pearl dealers in New York that used to come, and they make them crazy with the prices, and you know. Anyways, they were so nice to me. I was really, really surprised. They were so nice. They showed me, they explained me. I knew in that one appointment that I went to, I knew everything I needed to know about pearls. And so we went on a pearl spree, and we bought $100,000 worth of pearls. You know, my husband used to say, till now I supported you, now I'm supporting you in your business. But, so we bought pearls. He explained to me what I should look for and what I should buy, what price points. And when I got home, I went into the bay, and I bought a strand of pearls that was in their counter, and I remember like today, it was $800. I bought those same pearls for $75 in Japan. So, and I had I had about 500 strands at the time, maybe 400, whatever it comes to $100,000. I told you I'm not good at math. I called up the buyer at the Bay, and I said to her, you know, I'd love to come up and show you something really, really, it would be good for you. And she says, look, I'm really sorry, I have no time and I have no money, have a good day. I said, okay, I'll try Eaton's. So she said, what do you have? I said, I can't tell you over the phone. Give me 5 minutes, I'll show you what I have. If you don't want it, no problem. She says, all right, come up, you have 5 minutes. So I bring with me 50 hanks of pearls, and I bring with me the pearls I bought downstairs in the store with the label, with the invoice, so she didn't think I said, this I bought in your store, this I can sell you for $150. So she said, well, how could you do that? I said, I just came back from Japan, I got a really good deal, and if you want, I can give it to you. She says, look, I have no money. I spent all my money that I was allocated. I can't buy anything at the moment. And this was before Mother's Day. So I called my husband and I said, what do you think we should do? He says, offer her consignment. I said, okay. So I said to her, look, I'll give you a deal. I'll give it to you on consignment, which means I'll let you put it into your stores. Don't pay me. If you sell it, you pay me. And if you don't sell it, you send it back to me. Okay. So she said, okay. I said, I want one condition. I want you to put an ad in the paper that this is on special for Mother's Day at $2.99. So she said, okay, got a deal. So I sent her 100 strands to Montreal, 100 strands to Toronto, and 100 strands to Vancouver. I strung them overnight. I got some Vietnamese guys who were stringing pearls. I sent them out to her 2 weeks before Mother's Day. She put an ad into the paper. 2 days later, I get a frantic call. I said, what's the matter? I thought maybe, God forbid, some of them broke or some disaster. She says, you're not going to believe it. She says, I'm all sold out in every store. What am I going to do? I have this ad running and I have no more pearls. I said, no problem. My husband got onto the plane the next day, went back to Kobe, and bought some more pearls, and she had enough pearls. So that was so you have to have courage to have character. You have to do things that you think you're never going to be able to do. And today, I have a company upstairs here. We sell jewelry, we sell on the internet. I have over 100 people working for me. 40 of them are my family, children, grandchildren. And that's my story. I hope that you'll learn something from it. If not, it was a pleasure seeing you anyway. Thank you.
I must say, that's only a little part of her story. But this is a chance to ask any question, something you heard, some other,
I
any
didn't
questions?
tell you anything about all the organizations that I was involved in. I was involved in Israel Bonds, in Federation, in Namada, in all of our schools. There wasn't an organization that I was not or am not involved, so that's, that comes with the territory. Questions?
The fellows or the mentors, anyone wants to get it?
Yes.
Yeah, so what I can,
Just say your names.
John Pfeiffer.
I know.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. It's a very inspiring story. I think one thing that's important to see is that you were open at that time. You said you wanted to do something. Your children were younger, and now you're open to doing it. So whatever came your way and you had faith is what gave you the opportunity to go to the next level. And what I wanted to ask you was, were you ever thinking about something specific that you wanted to do, or was it just that openness, like anything that I like? Because you said you love jewelry, but what were you thinking that, and then it manifested itself, or was it more?
Actually, no. I didn't mention this, but after I got married, I got a degree in early childhood education, and I became a kindergarten teacher. So for many years, I taught in kindergarten. And at some point, I thought maybe I would go back. But you get to be age 40 and to run around with little kids is a bit difficult. And I am and was very creative all the time. I used to make all kinds of things with it. And I always, like I said, had hope that one day I could do something with that creativity. But again, at that stage in your life, you don't go out and do something, and so this just it hit me kind of, without even knowing that it was something that I like to do. So, no, I don't really think I ever thought deeply enough to say I'm going to go into business without, it was just luck.
Thank you.
Say your name out loud, Shalom.
Anna.
I
How do you balance owning the business but also doing so many community work?
That's an excellent question. First of all, my family life was the number one important thing in my life. That I never let, not business or community or anything, control my family life. And it's tough. Working during the day is business, and doing the things that I did for the community was mostly at night. If I had to leave the office and it was something important, I can do it, and I did. So you have to weigh things, you have to see in the balance of importance. Like this organization right now needs me, so this will wait a few minutes, whatever. It's like funny. My husband doesn't own an iPhone, a cell phone. He says for the 10 minutes that it takes to get from my house to the office, if someone can't reach me, too bad. So the same thing, you know, if I go out for an hour, they'll call me back an hour later, you know, so you have to choose the important things that are important to you and do that. And then, you know, Hashem pours His blessing in for the good that you do.
My name is Yair.
I hear.
You mentioned that you started your business at age 40. Was there any problem with around your age for that?
Pardon?
Is there any problem around your age for that? Like, did it present any problems?
Problems? No.
No?
Why?
Because a lot of people always say, oh, I'm too old to start a business now, I'm too old to do this.
I'm almost 80 and I'm still not too old. So I never had a problem. I was always 28 and I still feel 28. So age was never ever a problem. But yes, for some people it is. But that's what character is. You build a character and you have to keep at it. You can't let anything that doesn't concern you, you know, kill it. If you want to do something really, really, really seriously and it's something good, you just have to go at it and don't let anybody discourage you. Not age or anything.
I'm Eddie. I wanted to know, while you were building your business, did you ever consider the fact that it might not succeed? Did you have a backup plan? And while you were building it, did you ever doubt yourself that it wouldn't work?
Yes. And I have to tell you, in the 40 years, it wasn't all roses. There was one year that we had bankruptcy after bankruptcy after bankruptcy, and we almost didn't make it. If not for my husband's genius, I didn't mention it, but he was in the printing business for a long time, and then when my business started to grow, I couldn't do any of the things that build a business except the creativity part and the selling part. But that's not all. You need to have someone that takes care of the money and make sure that we have a credit and make sure that people don't rip us off. And so my husband gave away actually the business he had and came in with me and helped me do all the things that I couldn't do. So yes, there were some really rough times in our business, but somehow, you know what, we always gave a lot of tzedakah, a lot of charity, and I always believed that saved us. I don't know if anybody believes in it, but that's how we believe that.
Steve.
Hi.
Thank you for that. I've known you for many years, and this was very, very insightful. Question in the topics of courage, strength of character, fortitude, being a woman in a very male-dominated dominated industry and community, and being an observant Jew, how you had to test your resolve in your business dealings, and you had to stick to your community.
Right. So yes, that's an excellent question, and again, it was not easy. Especially, we used to travel to Asia a lot, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, Thailand, and these people never saw a Jew before. I mean, when we went to Hong Kong the first time in 1970, there was no shul, there was no kosher. I used to can my own food. I bought a canning machine, and I would cook meals and can them because we didn't know if there was going to be refrigeration anywhere. So cans don't need to be refrigerated. So that's what I used to do. So it was tough. And the people never, they didn't know that women were not supposed to shake hands with men, or that certain, laws. So it was difficult, and we had to very nicely explain that that's our tradition. this is a cute story. I don't know if you guys want to hear it, but the first time we went to China, so the Chinese government at the time was like, I mean, it was not like today. There was no stores, the hotels were, we came to this small city. It was called Hangzhou, and that's where the pearl industry was in China. And the hotels had no keys to the rooms, and no heat, and the winters were like in Montreal. I remember coming into the hotel, sleeping with my fur coat, because it was so freezing. But they didn't trust anybody. It was pretty scary in those days. So they made a party for us, like, you know, we're Canadians. In those days, they didn't even have, until Nixon, they didn't have any relationship with the Americans, only Canadians. So when we came, we put this big Canadian sticker on our suitcase, and they were so happy to see us. And so they made this big, big feast in our honor, and they do that so they can get good food, because that's the only time they have a chance for themselves to eat properly. Now explain to them that we can't eat anything because it's not kosher. So we explained to the guy who was our interpreter that my husband and I are very allergic, and all we can eat is a fruit or vegetable. Okay, so the guy comes out on a tray, and he's holding an onion and an apple. And that's what we had for dinner that night. Like, oh, we have so many stories of our trips. I could stay here for hours. I mean, people we met, the things that happened to us. But yes, it was tough being a woman and tough being a religious woman. But one thing I can tell you, everybody that understood afterwards that it was because of our religion respected us tremendously. In every business, I used to go to Toronto to the biggest customers, Walmart, Kmart's, all of them. They had the highest respect for us. So it's if you're honest and if you do good business, it doesn't matter if you're religious, you're not religious. That's the answer.
Dean.
So I was struck actually by the different characters that you met along the way. So the buyers, some who responded well to you, some that didn't. And in particular, the last one, the Kobe buyer, who, like you explained to us, would culturally not normally be accepting, but instead, kind of got a kick out of the opportunity.
Right.
So I suppose along the way you learned a lot about character as well from the buyers.
Yes, absolutely. We got to know all the the people that sold. They weren't buyers. You're talking about the people we
Yeah, I'm
bought
talking about
from.
the sellers.
The sellers, yeah. They really got a kick out of me. I mean, that was the way to say it, because again, it was something new for them. I think today already women are better off now than they were in those days. But, I was fun, I was young, I was animated. So we would always get the press we wanted.
So of course, over the years, you came across, I'm sure, some shady characters and people who were not so.
Yes, yes.
And how did you deal with those?
We tried to stay away from them. That was the best way. Even some of the nice characters treated us sometimes really not nicely. But, we Jews are always, how should I say, we sometimes get the brunt of things, but I never took anything to heart because I was always so strong in my belief that what I am doing is right. I didn't let anybody do anything to stop me or to make me feel bad. But yeah, we plenty of shady characters. Plenty of people took us for a ride. Like that year that the bankruptcies, people, sales, all of them went bankrupt in 1 year. We lost over $750,000 in bankruptcies. And, you know, so it was a lot at the time for us. The banks didn't want it. You know, you're a businessman, you know. But you overcome it. That's, you know, God doesn't do anything for us that we can't handle. I came to that conclusion. Anybody else?
I have a question to ask. Could you tell them, since Hanukkah's around this block, could you tell them the story about Hanukkah in Japan?
Oh.
When
You guys want to hear it?
It's a great story.
I think it's important.
All right. So I think it was in 1976. The Rebbe came out with a campaign to build menorahs outside. And then you saw menorahs going up in different cities, in different plazas, in different city halls, and everywhere in the world, people were building menorahs. We come to Kobe and we get this email that the Rebbe wants everyone to build outside menorahs.
Telegram, not even.
Whatever, it was a telegraph,
Very technologically advanced.
whatever. We got the message. We got the message. So my husband was thinking, what am I going to do here in Kobe? I don't know the language. I don't know anybody. How am I going to build a menorah here? So there's a company in Kobe. It's a port city. So a lot of shipyards. And Zim Containers has a huge office there. And they're all Israelis. So my husband thought, you know what, they're engineers, they're Israelis, I can speak Hebrew to them. Let me see, maybe somebody, you know, could give me some ideas how I can get this done. Because there's a beautiful shul in Kobe, gorgeous. I mean, it's hundreds of years old. There used to be a really big Jewish community in Kobe. And we used to go every Shabbat to shul there. And we met a lot of the people who lived there, and we became friendly with them, and we, you know, personally they came to Canada, they would stay by us, so it became a nice place for us to go. So we called the company, and this guy answers the phone, and my husband asks him and said, look, I'd like to meet somebody from your company, I want to do something here, and maybe you can help me. So the guy said, sure, after work I'll come, I'll meet you in the hotel lobby. So the guy comes over, and they're sitting and talking, and he says, I need to build a menorah. The guy looks at him and he said, are you out of your mind? He says, no, I'll pay whatever it is, help me build a menorah. He says, what are we going to build it from? He says, what kind of equipment do you have He says, we have a lot of pipes. Okay, let's build a menorah from pipes. So he says, let me see what I can do. We drew a diagram of what this menorah has to look like. And he went back. 2 days later, he calls my husband back. He says, I have to tell you, I think I got it. It's going to cost you so much, I don't even remember anymore. He said, sure, come and pick up the money, and whatever work you need, whatever, I'm here. Anyways, the guy built us a menorah that's made out of pipes, metal pipes, soldered together. And Saturday night was the first Hanukkah lighting ceremony. We took it to the shul and put it outside on the balcony. And everyone that passed by Kobe on that main street where the synagogue was, they never saw anything like it. And we invited the whole community from Kobe, Osaka, and another small little city near there. There were a lot of Jews that worked at the U.S. Embassy there. So they all came. We had about 150 people that came for the Hanukkah party. I made latkes that day. My husband koshered the whole kitchen in the shul because it really wasn't kosher. We bought new pans. There was an old Japanese janitor there. He peeled me 50 pounds of potatoes, and my husband and I took a hand grater and we grated all the potatoes, and I made 50 pounds of latkes that night. And it was really, somebody played guitar and music, and everybody was dancing, and it was the most amazing Hanukkah party. And it was all because of that menorah that we built. So that's the story.
We want to thank Mrs. Julie Gniwisch for giving us the time and sharing so much with us and inspiring us. So now we'll take a quick 10-minute break.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the speaker that was here. I feel like, wow, she really inspired me because the way that she progressed in her business and the way that she had some hiccups and struggles during the whole thing, and then how even if she was faced with even sexism, when she went to the office and they told her no, we don't want to deal with the small business and stuff like that. I feel like she took it in a way, not a negative way. I think she took it in a positive way and turned it into something really good. And I just think that if you want to be a leader, you need to do exactly what she did, and I don't know, just face things that come to you in a positive way and turn it into something good and bad.
I feel like staying true to yourself and following your own values and your personal way of thinking, and making yourself into your own person, that makes you into a better leader. There's a reason why the picture is with people, because not only does this make you into a better leader, it also attracts them towards you because they know that you're genuine and you're genuine. That's the best way I can say it.
Beautiful.
So what I learned about being a leader is that I need to have moral courage, and I have to be confident, and that's what I learned.
So I learned and relearned a bit, so that if you want to be a good leader, point one is obviously courage, right? And fortitude, it's a bit the same thing, but also if you want to be a good leader and you want your followers to respect you and trust you, you have to be yourself first of all, and you have to be good with everybody. You have to treat everybody as an equal, because if you don't, then you're not going to get the respect of everybody. And then that's when, for example, when you start a business and you're the owner, or when you're a captain or something like that, it's not going to work out because they're not going to follow you because they don't respect your decisions, and they won't stay with you despite your mistakes or anything like that. And that's what I learned.
And so I think she was really inspiring, and I think it was really interesting to see how back when she started her business, being a woman, it was hard to start be a woman in the industry, and now if you're a woman-owned business, everyone wants you because that's what everyone wants, or a black-owned business or indigenous business or whatever. And basically we went deep into finding how to have a character and how to be a leader and have a good character, and that's just really being yourself, and at the same time taking risks and not being afraid of whatever comes towards you, and also associating everything with our beliefs and the Torah, and making sure that you make the right decisions with whatever you're faced with.
Beautiful.
So I wanted to say that I love the story of your mother-in-law. I really loved how her business, she never gave up. And we could see her character when she came up here to speak. You can just tell from her aura how she was able to present herself and come up and give that speech, how she never gave up in her business and her qualities. And I love the exercise that we did for homework. It really brought up my values, and I think everyone in here can agree that reflecting on those values really helped us all to advance in our leadership. and I think this was an amazing step forward.
Anyone else before we close up? Anyone else wants to say a few words? Any mentors want to say something? Yeah, anyone else? Not forcing, you'll get the chance, but by the end you're all going to clamor for the microphone. So, beautiful. It was great. Thank you all so much. So again, remember the homework. Keep your badges. It's good to wear the badges the whole time, because then when you get up, you know, we're videoing so we can put for ourselves some memories as we go back. So you should wear it the whole time, but it was, you're really great. It was really great to see everyone into it. I really appreciate the mentors, because today I acted as a mentor and it was a lot of work. Anyways, all of you are great. Thank you so much and have a good night.